Welcome to the Land Cave where we're living as nerds. I'm Patrick, joined by Owen.
Elden Lord.
Yeah, you
Almost.
gonna get there?
Almost.
Almost. We're
I
so
have
close.
I am
So
in
close.
I am in the throes of the end game. I have done the deed that needs to be done to put the story on its trajectory.
The cardinal sin.
Yes, I have committed a cardinal sin indeed. Have you done a cardinal sin yet?
I have not.
Okay.
I'm pretty darn close,
My
but I'm
my
doing some
favorite thing
NPC
about
stuff. So
My favorite thing about doing it was that I'm in a Discord that I mention all the time, and I'm known as like the person who's been adamantly against Souls games
oh,
for
yeah,
quite some time. And that's how I am on this show as well. And all of a sudden I was like, I committed a cardinal sin today, and like three different people were like, wait, Word, which is like my PSN name and stuff, like Word's about to beat a Souls game? What is going on? So I am. I'm not quite at Robert's 180 level or anything like that, but I am on the way. I have maxed out now my sword,
mm-hmm.
my my seal is maxed, and my mimic tier
No,
all
yeah,
maxed.
yeah.
So I'm as strong as I'm going to get weapon wise. We're gonna see how this goes. I literally remembered today that I have like 25 rune arcs. So if
Yep.
I'm
I
prepared
haven't
to
been
start
using
throwing
them.
that down. Me
Yeah.
either. But I mean, it's like that's that classic RPG thing,
Uh
right?
huh.
Like you get the mega elixir, and those mega elixirs just sit in your inventory for 72 hours. Like you're never
Yep.
gonna use those things. Like even in the boss, I'm not even gonna try and pop the rune arc first. I'm gonna try and fight the boss the same as that I've been
Legit.
fighting all
Yeah.
the bosses,
Yeah.
and then I'll start popping rune arcs.
Yeah. I mean, I only have 2 runes right now, so I know
I
that.
don't have it. I only have one supercharged. Like only one's ready to go, and
Okay,
it's the one that gives you plus five, like
plus
basically like
5.
20 levels
Yeah,
worth of stats.
yeah, which is going to be epic. Like when you want to use it. Yeah, I thought I was crazy because like I put in our group message like I want to hit like I think I said 180 to 200 by the time I beat it, so that way I get into new game plus at like 200,
Yeah,
and then Robert shares and he's like, yeah, I'm at 180, and Robert is just behind I think where I am. Well, he may be ahead of me at this point because I'm doing a lot more like checklist stuff. He's doing a little bit more organically. But yeah, it's I'm hats off to you getting this far in Elden Ring. You're gonna beat it. And I will say like you've never been anti Souls games. You're just like it's not your thing. And it's you were like I get it,
I've been
but it's
anti me playing Souls games.
anti you playing. Sure. Um, but yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm not. I can't at this point. I haven't lost Steam yet. Mostly, but like it's more
Yeah,
like I don't want it to end, but at the same time I want to keep playing. So I'm loving checking stuff off, but at the same time I don't want to end. So I'm already thinking about my in new game plus playthrough, which I'm not going to do. This playthrough I'm doing literally everything. I'm not going to be doing that in the next one, but
yeah.
yeah.
I've definitely hit some fatigue points over. Like I was fighting the boss that leads to
Mm-hmm.
the cardinal sin, and I was so frustrated. And then I commit the cardinal sin. I go to the next area, and honestly, I was just mad being there because I was like, "Where's my like?" Because I didn't know where it is that I get to the end, and I have looked up some things about the end, and I was like, so I just assume that this is going to start happening, and then it doesn't start happening, and I'm going
Mm.
through another area, and I'm getting killed by these like small mobs,
Oh wow.
and it's funny how I'll get killed by mobs way more often than I'll get killed by bosses. Like I fought an extremely hard boss in Mogwin. Mog is a very hard boss,
Yeah.
and it took me like 4 tries, and I think that that's pretty solid for it to only take 4 tries. I was pretty proud of that. But
Yeah, that's
then
not
I'll
bad.
fight these like just trash mobs, like this trash giant skeleton in this area who just like can thrash me. He can take me. I have like 1300 HP, and he can kill me in 3 hits. and and they're 3 relatively fast hits.
Hmm. Yeah.
So, and I fought that NPC that got you that sword. That dude made me legit angry. I was so mad
Really?
at that guy.
Really? Did you
He
die to
walked
him?
up to me. Oh, 7 times. He walked up to me. He slices through my shield, kicks me in the face, and then stabs me in the chest.
Dude, bleed damage,
7
man.
times
Bleed.
he did that.
Yeah, I will say I did get him first try. This is my Mog fight, by the way, which I will say I anticipated it being really difficult, so I was like, you know what, I'm having a rough time, so this is my
Oh, maybe,
first attempt.
maybe I'm thinking of a different guy. I'm not thinking of
Mog the
Ogden. I'm
Omen.
thinking of Mogwin. I'm thinking Mogwin.
There, yeah. Well, there's I think there's a couple different forms or whatever. Maybe it's
Oh,
Mogwin,
okay.
but this is Mog the Omen, who I just jumped in
Oh,
there.
okay.
And Moog the Omen does have, which I guess I'll have to see if Mogwin also reacts to it. There's a Moog shackle, which I never used. There's a Margit shackle that I never used, that it binds them to the ground like this. So,
Yeah.
so you can come in there and just whop on them. So
He does look
yeah,
very similar, so I wonder what the difference between the two characters. So I fought the one that is in that gives you the
mountaintops.
great rune. Yeah,
Okay.
that gives you the great rune.
Okay.
Because this guy doesn't give you a great rune, does he?
No, no.
Yeah. So
He gives you a there's a I think it's a unique sorcery. So a lot of these that I'm doing are, if you get a legendary sorcery or a legendary weapon, I'm doing them because
yeah.
I want to get the platinum. And then there's a secret area, which I didn't realize until afterwards. There's a secret area like further, like for this, that allows you to unlock more stuff. What is this? This is the
Why is there more than one?
More than one
That's so
what?
weird. There's more than one Moog. That's weird. Or like I think it's got to be the same guy,
It
but
could be. Well, there's more than one Margaret. Like you
yeah.
find, because so
I didn't
it
even
could be
realize
that.
that was him. By the way, I fought the second Margit and I just slaughtered him, and I was like, wait, that was Margit? Oh,
That was
cool.
by that time you'd been farming for a while, so I'm guessing it didn't phase you. I did it
Just
in one try.
threw fireballs is stupid. Actually, now I've moved on from fireballs to waves of lava coming out of my
Okay.
sword. So
Okay. Yeah, I've heard good things
but
about that.
I'm feeling ready to move on, but
Yeah.
I have this determination now in my heart to win. I want to roll credits at this point. I have come this far, so let's get some credits on a Souls game. Let's
Yeah.
say that I beat a Souls game. Let's hang my hat on that and then never ever play it again.
And I mean, obviously, I'm in a different camp because I'm like, I've played Dark Souls 1. I think the first half of Dark Souls 1, I think I've played like 20 times. But yeah, this one I'll probably do New Game Plus. New Game Plus, surprisingly, yes, it's more difficult, but you have all your gear, so it's more comfortable. So you can kind of stomp the bosses in the beginning. The next game that I'm going to be playing, though, is going to be Lego Star Wars, because I did pick that up. I'm going to play it with the wife because the Lego games are just great. And this did break the Steam record for concurrent players of a Lego game. If that's not like a specific enough like record, but it did kind of smash the others. So I thought that was kind of cool because some people were throwing that out there like it was like this huge accomplishment. And I'm not saying it was, not an accomplishment, but
For a Lego game, it's pretty
for a
impressive.
Lego game. Yeah, for a Lego game, 82,517 concurrent players, which of course for like, online games and stuff, that's nothing. The second highest was Marvel Superheroes with 5,953. Do you think a lot of people play the Lego games on PC though? I mean, I know people do play it, but it seems more console centric to me
No,
in
they're
the player
console
base.
games for
Yeah.
sure. Because they're kids
Yeah.
games. Like you're playing
Yeah.
this on your Switch. You're playing this on PlayStation. I bought one. I think I bought DC Supervillains or something like that for $4, and I think I
Mhm.
bought the Harry Potter collection for $4 because I figure at some point
Yeah.
Theodore can walk around. He has not done it yet.
Yeah.
But I have them just kind of ready to go. I
Yeah, those
probably
would be
will do
fun
the
for
same
him.
where I pick this game. Like, this is definitely a game that I want. I don't want to pay $60 for it, though. I was very close whenever I saw a Switch Steelbook. That was very tempting. Um, but I went with better judgment because I'm already buying games. I got a couple games from Limited Run that just came in. I bought a second copy of 13 Sentinels because it's coming to Switch this month, so I have that coming in from Play Asia at some point,
Yeah.
and that might be a game I actually replay is 13 Sentinels on Switch just to see
You, and you don't
how well
play
it
like
runs.
unless it's a Zelda game. You don't like
I don't
replay.
replay anything. 13 Sentinels lives rent free in my head, so
Yeah.
uh, I definitely want a lot of people to play that. And I think it's actually going to get a very big audience. I think it's sold around like 500,000 copies on PlayStation. I think that it'll probably do just as well on Switch if it does that many. But I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to play. Like, what do you follow up Elden Ring with? So I thought about Lego. I thought about Kirby. I thought about Guardians of the Galaxy. I thought about
Hmm.
Triangle Strategy, which I'm hearing things of. I don't think I can do another long form RPG. I think I need something. I
You
need
need
something a little
something
bit more
light.
concise.
Yeah, something a little bit light after Elden Ring's 100 hours
That
or
looks
however
fun.
many it's going to end up being in there. Yeah, I mean,
Playing
yeah,
around
you're.
with the ships, that's got to be
Mhm.
super fun in Lego. That
Yeah.
looks dope.
Well, what I liked, like when they originally announced this, I thought it was just going to be a remaster of the other of the all the Lego games, and I was going to buy it for that reason because I was like, they're good games, and this is not a remaster. This is like its own thing. Um, and it looks really fun. The Lego games are really fun, so I'll have to let you know how the multiplayer is. You see, the camera angle is different on this than usually. It's almost isometric, and this is a little bit more over the shoulder. So I'll have to let you know how that ends up being from a multiplayer standpoint. But yeah, the Harry Potter ones will probably be good for Ted, and I'll say the Harry Potter and the Hobbit ones were my least favorite, but they're all Lego games. All the Lego games are
Yeah,
still good. It's
it was
just
literally
not.
that.
It's not Star Wars.
It was $4.99 on like one of those like sales
Yeah,
over the holidays, and I was like, for $5, even if it's terrible,
yeah,
it'll be fine.
yeah. Yeah, you'd be fine. You'd be fine. I'll tell you what's not fine though, or what is fine. Sorry, I'm gonna switch it. What is fine is people realizing that NFTs aren't as good, or aren't as good of an idea, I should say, in the video game market as people originally thought, or at least some companies, capitalist, profit-driven companies, trying to get that money from us. Just milk us for money. Ubisoft is ending NFTs in Ghost Recon, Breakpoint, whatever. Um, for now, it's not over. They're going to continue the NFT thing, but apparently the backlash was enough that they're ceasing NFTs in this, or the continuation of the new NFTs and stuff like that. It's, to me, pushing NFTs just to push NFTs is just blatantly just trying to make money. And like, as a gamer or anything in art form, like, you give me an NFT, like, make it something like worth it. And to me, I haven't seen anything that would be worth it from an NFT standpoint. Um, Including just right before we started the show, Owen sent me this in Twitter. Star Trek Continuum NFTs. This has got to be the most Ferengi thing to do. I mean,
I'm sure there's a rule of acquisition for it.
I'm sure there is. The first thing that I thought was, like, out the Star Trek fans who are, let's be honest, the Federation in Star Trek is basically socialist. I mean, they're non-capitalist in regards to how the structure works for their government, right? People can make money, but that's not how the Federation works and how the government works. And the Ferengi are like full-blown capitalist. This is what the Ferengi would roll out.
Rule of acquisition number 10:
Yeah, what is
greed is
that?
eternal.
There you go. Yeah, it's yeah. Greed is eternal. I forgot the ones. I'll look it up later. There's my favorite Ferengi, the rules of acquisition, because we all know they were making them up as they went along on Deep
Oh
Space
yeah,
Nine. But like, there's one episode, and I can't remember what it was, but the rules are like exactly the opposite. It's like one rule after another. Like, and I think I can't remember. Rom like mixes it up. He says like, "Oh, it's Rule 37." They're like, "No, that's Rule 36. Rule 37 is," and then it's like the exact opposite. Um, I can't. I'll have to look it up at some point. But no, the rules were hilarious. And if you're not a Star Trek fan, Deep Space Nine is amazing. The Grand Nagus episode where he writes his new rules of acquisition
yeah.
is just, is fantastic. Uh, it's good stuff. Deep Space Nine. But yeah, Star Trek NFTs, that's not what we wanted. What we do want is the Star Trek um, Resurgence game that's coming out later this year, hopefully. Narrative driven single player, no microtransactions, no NFTs, just story driven by this is the former Telltale team, right? Or Telltale devs. Yeah.
Yes, if I
So it's
recall
going to be
correctly.
good. Yeah. So it's going to be a good story. And I said before, I'm hoping this brings more people into the Star Trek fandom because Star Trek is great. It's amazing storytelling, and I think a lot of people, for various reasons, get turned off by it. But I think we're beyond that now. Enough people are playing games like D&D and enjoying it that people can enjoy some Star Trek.
Been watching a little Picard season 2.
How is it?
Still enjoying it.
Yeah.
So far, had some interesting things going on. I think that I still have a problem with the current trajectory of Trek, where the animated ones are the ones where you get the more week to week shenanigans.
Yeah.
These are definitely continuing stories. Like there's a clear through line from like the beginning of the end, but big thing happened at the end of last week's episode, so I'm very interested to see how it turns out by the end of this season. Will not
Yeah.
reveal anything
Yeah.
whatsoever because it is completely spoiler, but I will say they got some interesting stuff going for Picard season 2. I definitely recommend it over this most recent season of Discovery for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I've not finished season one. I need to finish season one. I've heard good things about season two. A couple things were spoiled for me in season one. So before I even started, like there were a couple things spoiled that um, it made
You're
it
really
less
bad
of
about
like
seeing
a mystery.
spoilers. So you're just like the most unlucky dude.
I guess so. And then, well, between that and I've got a couple people that I work with or that I'm friends with who I've told them like repeatedly like about and one of them is young enough to not be doing this, but I've told them repeatedly like I don't like spoilers. I don't just if you like it, just tell me, dude, it's really good. You should watch it. You don't have to tell me why I should watch it by telling me um like I think I mentioned this. One of the people that spoiled Star Trek season Picard season one, he spoiled
Yeah.
like I think it was like episode 3 or 4 of the Tiger King like documentary
Mm.
thing. So I think that's like 6 episodes or something. And he's like, "Oh, you really got to watch it, but you're gonna find out that this." And I'm like, "Really?" And it ended up not even being something like in the first episode. It ended up being so the whole time I'm watching it, I knew like a twist that came out like in the fourth episode. Um, that doesn't make me want to keep watching. That just makes me anticipate it the entire time and wait for it. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll definitely be checking out season two. I guess I need to check it out before someone spoils stuff. Um,
It's only like
I,
$5 a month, I think. So like if you paid for a month, you could definitely like get through the content and then
yeah,
cancel your sub.
yeah, may have to do that.
They also do have, I think, all the Star Treks on Paramount Plus. So I think,
Okay.
and I think they might still be on Netflix though. So that may,
Deep Space Nine's still on Netflix.
but knowing you, you
Yeah,
probably own all of them anyway. So
surprisingly, I don't. I need to own Deep Space Nine. Like I don't have
yeah,
I don't have a an excuse at this point. Um, by the way, during April Fools, the only things that I thought were funny because it was very blatantly a joke, or the only one that I thought was funny, it was blatantly a joke, was one that I shared with you. It was a saying like Paramount or announces new demaster descale of Voyager and Deep Space Nine. Because immediately, if you're a Star Trek fan like we are, you know that we've never gotten HD versions of those, and we've been waiting for HD versions of them. There's a fan that's apparently like doing an upscale like on their own, using
That
like,
doesn't surprise me.
yeah, not at all. Especially with Star Trek fans, they're doing an upscale, and I think they're using not only regular rendering, but they're also using some deepfake to kind of not just upscale the pixels, but try to fill in the gaps intelligently. And if that comes out, I will find wherever it is, because I have the cleaned up original Star Wars that is like the original undoctored version of Star Wars, episodes 4, 5, and 6, without the Greedo shooting first, without like all the extra stuff that they threw in there, and I enjoy it. So,
Now adding Deep Space Nine, the series, to my tracker for when it goes on sale. Right now, it's on sale for $80, but according to cheap charts on iTunes, it's been as low as $39.99. So if I can wait for a $40 price tag for Deep Space Nine, I will pay that.
I'd buy it for $39.99. $80 for a standard definition show. I'm sorry, it's 2022. We're beyond that at this point. No pun intended.
Yeah, HD not available.
Not available. Yeah,
That's
exactly. It's sad because there's Voyager and Deep Space Nine are great, and they deserve the HD treatment. Someone was saying that apparently Deep Space Nine, they filmed it like in HD or in like full on film, but they knew they were going to crop it. So like apparently the version, if you got the undoctored, uncropped version of like the print from their negatives, like you can see stuff like on the side, like there's like extra crew members like just off camera, but
Yeah.
it's in camera, it's in frame. If they just took the originals and released it, that's what you'd get. And they're like, we're not doing that.
No.
There's got to be a better way, though. Got to be a better way.
There's got to be a better way.
Did you watch any of the Unreal Engine hype train going?
I didn't. I was in a training class all day
Yeah.
during this, so I have not caught it. I saw the people talking about the Tomb Raider and bringing up the classic thing of finding like ammunition in like 50,000-year-old whatever ruins, or hundreds. But
Yeah.
I did see that we got a new Tomb Raider announcement. That's exciting.
Yep, we get Tomb Raider is going to be in Unreal 5, and Witcher, which we knew was going to be Unreal as of our last episode. If you guys watched the show, you know. But yeah, we're going to have Witcher in Unreal 5. I will say, most of what they showed, it's interesting, but it's very. I mean, they did this launch trailer for devs. They did this for people who program, who are game developers, which is a huge chunk of of audience. People don't realize, like, you have enthusiasts and you also have professionals and what have you. That's what this was for. So some people are like, this is boring. This is not for the gamer. This is for the devs. There was a lot of cool stuff in it, but I'll say a lot of it did, I didn't understand the nuance that they were getting at. But it was really cool to see, some of the. Did you play the Matrix tech demo thing?
No, I never got around to it. I have it downloaded, so I've watched it be played. But
I mean,
no, I haven't actually got to.
If you watched it, if you watched it, I mean, I wouldn't say that playing it is groundbreaking or anything. It's cool being able to go around the world and stuff, but they do talk about they showed a lot of that, but they just talked about a lot of how the engine works and how the objects are the hitboxes and blah 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 stuff that I don't understand enough, but lighting technology and everything, it seems like it makes everything much easier to to manage if you know what you're doing and know what you're going after from a buildings perspective. It seems like it makes it a lot easier to make something that looks really good as opposed to, really, scrapping things together. But yeah, really good stuff, really intuitive. But yeah, I guess for us, I mean, the cinematic bit was pretty cool because this is all in engine. From a So it's a cinematic, but it's made in engine, so that was kind of cool. Um, it looks good. Obviously, you're watching my low res version of it because this is only 1080. But yeah, it's impressive, the tech that they're using. But since this is just now kind of releasing, that means you're not going to play a game with this for a while. It's going to be, probably a couple years. If you're playing something that's Unreal 5, I'd say next year or so, then they probably rushed, or they took what they were using in another engine, or maybe it's someone that is working deep with Epic, a partnership to try to launch
Yeah.
something early. So
And
the
you think
good
about
stuff,
like
yeah,
games that like Xbox with Hellblade. Like,
yeah,
we've seen that game how many times now, and that game is on Unreal 5. Still have no expectation of it in the next year or two. And
yeah.
so like the question for me on games like that where we've seen that, it's like, were you working in Unreal 4 and you got it, or did you get early access to Unreal 5
Yeah.
tools so that you can be like one of the premier games to come out first? So maybe Hellblade does end up being like one of the earlier ones to do it. I kind of wonder how that stuff works in terms of access.
They've got to have some like partnership, early access partnership kind of thing where they're kind of where one, you have trusted developers that Epic can work with, and they know they're gonna do some good stuff. But also, not only trusted developers who aren't going to leak stuff, they're developers that are going to make something look really good. So then, when you show off stuff, you can show it off. Um, I would bet it's kind of in that camp where they had early enough access, or they were given a heads up where, you know, they were like, "Hey, we're going to give it to you in like 2 months, and then you're going to have like 5 months to play with it before we announce this thing, and we want you to show whatever." Definitely some communication, so that way they could get like as many people attacking it as possible. They'll do the pores on their faces. It's crazy. Um, yeah, everything looks good. The I would say in the past 10 years, we've come from games that looked pretty good to games that look like, do the sports games. I can't get over some of the sports games look like you're watching like the game. It's impressive. It's gonna get better. You
Who's
probably weren't
making
fooled, but yeah.
Who's making Lyra or whatever it's called?
I don't
Is it
know.
the Coalition?
I don't know. I saw it pop up, but I didn't hear who. I was multitasking during some of it, but
A new
yeah,
playable shooter demo. Oh, maybe it's just a tech
could be
demo.
just a
I saw
could be
that the
just a tech
Coalition's
demo.
making a Unreal 5 game, which for those who don't know who the Coalition is, that's who makes Gears of War. So that means somebody is developing a shooter on it.
I'd love some Gears of War
Which
with
is
Unreal.
cool.
Yeah.
I think Tomb Raider is gonna look good. The question is like, does anybody want more Tomb Raider? that's kind of where I'm at. But I did find it interesting in terms of Crystal Dynamics. So Crystal Dynamics is working with Microsoft on the Perfect Dark game, so that's interesting. And then one of the former leads over at Sony Bend, the guy
Mm-hmm.
who made Days Gone, just got hired by Crystal Dynamics, and that happened. I think happened today. His name's
Yeah,
Jeff Ross, and
and they didn't
so
say what team he's on. He just got hired. Like,
says he's doing the Tomb Raider
oh wait,
reboot. That
good.
actually
Okay,
gives me a lot
good,
more confidence.
good.
So he's going to be the is he going to be the director, design director, Crystal
Okay,
Dynamics. So he's the director on
good
Tomb
choice.
Raider. I know that that Days Gone didn't have the initial excitement and everything, but if you've played it recently, it has kind of a cult following and stuff. And
Yeah,
he had a vision, I know, for the second one that's never going to get made. So if Crystal Dynamics has said, "Hey, come do Tomb Raider for us," and he's made a third person open world game, like think if we had like a kind of like a Tomb Raider open
hmm
world game, that'd be pretty interesting. I
yeah.
wonder if that's the direction that they go.
I would like a Tomb Raider open world. I love the Tomb Raider games, and I would say the or the previous reboot, I should say, because this will be a reboot. The previous reboot and trilogy are very good. They're very good, but I'm kind of glad we're gonna get a reboot because I feel like we exhausted what we could out of this version of Lara Croft. This version of Lara Croft was best when, similar to like Nathan Drake, it's best when you see the character struggling. You take a character who shouldn't be able to handle herself in these situations, and somehow she's able to like overcome. It's a great
Yeah,
character arc. It's wonderful. It's what makes these characters enduring, which is why people compared her to Nathan Drake, because when she's climbing, she's not effortless. She's like grunting and like, struggling with it. But that makes you care and makes you care more about the character. I don't want
that's why people compared
superhuman,
Nathan Drake to her. She came first.
but that's what I was going to say. But the old school games, she
True, I
wasn't,
know.
yeah, I know. She came first, and I'm hoping we get a little bit more smoothness in the new version. I loved what they did with these games, but I'd like to see a little bit more smoothness of we don't need to see her origin story anymore. Let's see, a Lara Croft who's been doing this a while, and maybe we get an open world thing where she gets dropped into like, I don't know, an island chain or something like that, and like you're exploring these different tombs and different things around the island, and that lets you unlock different areas. um, it'd be really cool. Islands, forests, whatever. I'd like the exploration version because I don't know, did you play the Shadow of the Tomb Raider or any of those?
I own them. I played
Yeah.
the first one and
Okay.
beat the first one. I started the second one and I forget what happened
I
to
can't
it, but
remember. Yeah.
but it didn't stop me from buying the third one either. So I do own all three of them, but
Yeah.
I've only played the first one.
I think it's the second one. I can't remember if it's the second one or third one, but like it's almost like you start to get a little bit of open world like in the forest kind of action, but it's still linear for the most part.
Yeah.
And not that I need something like full on Far Cry out of it, but it'd be really cool to see a third person open world Lara Croft game. And my wish with every Lara Croft game though is I want the mansion. I want to go into like give me access to the mansion one way or another, because that's just so fun. But I'll probably have to go back and play these because they are good. They're I just have a special place in my heart for OG Lara, um, which I think we talked about this before. Like I used to call her Laura Croft. I'm trying to
I think
pronounce
everybody
it
did.
as Laura because that's, yeah. I think everyone
I
did
think
too.
everybody called her Laura Croft. I don't think that. I mean, we're Americans. We don't say
Yeah.
like. I know that there's not a U in her name, but we don't. Nobody's named Lara here, so
Yeah. 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 That's
it's
true.
just
Especially
not
not
a. It's just not a common pronunciation. So I don't think
yeah.
anybody can fault you.
Especially not when we were kids. So yeah.
Yeah.
And then I did like the Witcher bit that they showed. I don't know if you saw any of this, but they didn't show anything. But there's just CD Project Red because this is still very very early on. CD Project Red talking
Guys, look at all
about
the dirt.
yeah, look at this. I got so many rocks.
I
But
got this dirt here, man. This dirt's gonna be dope.
this dev was talking about like when they watched, because remember this is devs watching. Devs were watching the trailer for it, and it says like Monster Hunter Wanted on there, and he was like, "Are they trying to get us to make our game in Unreal? Is that what they're trying to do?" Because so that when I said earlier like these are devs who are watching this stuff, that's who Epic's obviously targeting. People forget that in the gaming industry or in the gaming review people, they forget that, and they're just thinking about the gamer and the consumer. But the developers are watching these trailers. Developers are like, oh, what's the new tech, what's the cool stuff? So this guy was basically saying like the trailer looked great, the all the stuff that they were showing, like, was it 6 months ago or whatever. And then he said when that sign came on there, he was like, were they trying to court us? um, I don't necessarily
You
think that.
betcha.
I think they may have, but it could have been like, were they trying to court a Monster Hunter type of game? I think CD Projekt Red's more up their alley.
Well, isn't that?
Um,
I mean, isn't that what he is? Isn't he a
he
monster
is
hunter
he is a
basically?
Monster
Yeah,
Hunter, but I was thinking Monster Hunter
Monster Hunter,
series.
Capcom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But I'm like, that's not so much Capcom. It'd be cool to do that, but he is a Monster Hunter. That's his profession. Yeah, the lighting, like I said, like, obviously we don't know this tech as well as these people do, but watching the usage of it, it seems a lot more intuitive than the last time I tried to make a game. At least it's a lot easier and a lot more intuitive than the last time I tried.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be. I mean, I think this kind of thing is the future for a lot of people, especially smaller developers too, because Epic has like that deal where they take a smaller percentage of your until you reach, I think it's over $1 million in
Yeah,
sales. And so that's a big encouragement for independent developers as well, and to have access to an engine like this and be able to do something that can produce something
hmm
that looks as good
yeah,
as it does. Not that Unreal 4 games didn't look good, but like this is insane.
yeah,
And so I think that there's also opportunities where maybe some of these devs that aren't obsessed with using their own engine, EA,
hmm
that maybe maybe people stop supporting things like dice as much, and maybe use people whose like tools like that seem to be really
yeah,
built for diversity, whereas an engine like dice really seems to be built for one specific type of game, and they just make it work for other specific type or for other types, for other genres. And then even on the games where it is built for it, like the most recent Battlefield, they still managed to mess it up. So,
yeah, yeah. Well, I think it makes more sense to me, like you said, to not use an engine that's made for a specific thing, like the RE engine that they're using for like the Resident Evil games and everything. And I'm like, okay, I get it. Or, I mean, Bethesda has been the creation engine that they've been using since not since Morrowind, since Skyrim, I think. They've been using the same engine, and I think Starfield is also using that, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, it's the same engine with Bethesda. I don't think it's the same one from Morrowind, but it's like, let another team, like, let a developer that all they're doing is working on the engine, let them come out with a new hotness, and then you can use their engine. Was it
yeah.
12 years? What's the last? Are we looking that up?
The last what?
Oh, I thought you may be looking it up. I think Bethesda's used the same one for,
Oh,
um, I
yeah.
think since Fallout 3 or Skyrim, it's been the same engine for every single game since then. So that's like three console
Uh,
generations at this point.
in spite, still, I mean, it says as of February 13th, 2022, they still use the same engine called Gamebryo. It was used to power Fallout, Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas. Uh, Elder Scrolls 6 is using the same engine as Starfield.
Okay, this may be when they changed. Maybe that's what it is.
Several weeks ago, they announced Starfield will be running on its own brand new engine,
Okay,
Creation 2.
Creation 2. Okay,
So
that's
it
what it
looks
was.
like
Finally.
what we now know, Creation was, oh, so Creation is a upgrade of Gamebryo, and that was what Fallout 4 was on, and now they have Creation 2.
Gotcha.
So they've
Yeah.
still been using the same iteration
Yeah.
of the same engine for
Yeah.
for that long. I mean, I guess if you can like actually upgrade it, but that, in some ways though, you could tell the age of games, especially you look at a game, and now it's a decade-old game, but
Yeah,
a game
Fallout
like
3. I mean,
Skyrim versus Fallout 4. I mean, I don't think Fallout 4 really looks that much better than Skyrim,
it's
to
like
be honest.
it's more Fallout 4 to me. Fallout 4 is a well for the. I mean, there's upsides to Fallout 4. That game looks too pretty. That game looks too pretty, and Fallout 3 is the opposite end of that, where it's like that game looks like garbage. And I know it's a post-apocalyptic game, but Fallout 4 is just so sparkly and shiny and smooth that some of the surfaces I'm like, this is supposed to be a Star Trek game. This should not be like Star Wars hit it like perfect when it came to like the like old lived in world that Star Wars is. Fallout should be that because it's just what people have been using for since the nuclear fallout. It was too pretty and shiny and smooth. Um, and I feel like they were trying to do that to make it look better and polish it, polish a turd. And I'll say that as
And
someone
if they,
who loves Skyrim. So I'm just saying.
so this Nintendo just put this out 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
If there was something that would make me buy this expansion pack, I really don't want to. I have no desire to. I should maybe join somebody's family at some point, but they are putting Mario Golf 64 on the Nintendo, and like you mean the good Mario Golf? Is that what you're saying? Because
That's the good. Yep. I've been on the fence. I've been on the fence about getting the expansion pack because one, if I get the expansion pack, I need to get the N64 controller. Like I have to.
Sure.
I gotta feel it. And that game is it's one of my favorite games. Like that's
It's
a
good.
fun. Yeah, it's a solid golf game. Even if you don't like golf, it's a solid game. Nintendo, let us buy these games. Let us buy these games, and then people will maybe stop pirating your games. Nintendo, I mean, you can download the ROM. I'm not saying you should download the ROM. I'm just saying people can download the ROM of that and emulate it. Um, get like at $10, $20. Like let people buy these games. I'd buy Ocarina for 20. Did you buy Ocarina for 20? Easy.
I mean, I already did buy it on 3DS for 20.
I bought it on 3DS. I bought it on my Wii U. Yeah. That's I haven't bought Breath of the Wild multiple times. You did, but I don't have a Wii U Breath of the Wild.
Wii U Breath of the. Oh yeah, I do have that.
Yeah,
that's sitting on my shelf.
That's when
I'm
you.
gonna own
That's
that. I'm never getting rid of that baby.
Yeah.
I held on. I bought a Wii U 5 years early for that game. It's never going anywhere.
I liked my Wii U. I played a good amount of it. I liked it, but even when it was like in its heyday, and people were like, "Oh, you have a Wii U?" I was like, "It's okay." I mean, like, was it Zombie U? That was a letdown.
What, all 5 games that were on the Wii U?
I think I own like 14.
But they still managed to do Virtual Console on Wii U.
The Virtual Console is great.
And it's
So
still
the,
great.
Yeah, the Virtual Console in there. I remember I had my Wii U, and one of the guys that worked at the same company as me, he didn't work directly with me, but like he knew I was a gamer because people who know me know I'm a gamer, and they were like he passes me in the hall and he's like, "Hey, you have a Wii U, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Have you modded it?" I'm like, "No, I haven't." He's like, and I don't know if you knew this, the mod for the Wii U was just slipping an SD card in.
Mm-hmm.
Like it didn't require to hack the firmware. It was like just the SD card. If I'm
Wii U?
For the Wii U, it was an SD card. Maybe I think it launched the software to fix it, so you didn't have to open it up. That's what it was. But like, it wasn't. This is in the time when like the Xbox 360 and others, you had to like open it up, and like you had to open up the and mess with them, like do some soldering on the motherboard, or change the firmware on the DVD drive for the Xbox 360. And then the Wii U comes out, and people are just like, "Oh yeah, put this load this on your SD card, put it in, launch the software, and you're done. So I had a bunch of ROMs that would play on my Wii U. So
I'm looking at the guide. It doesn't look that hard.
it was crazy easy. Like my memory of it was literally put the stuff on a SD card, put it in the Wii U, and I think it launched the program, and then it was done. Didn't require. It was nowhere near as hard as the PS Vita was probably the most aggravating, like step by step one that I've done. We're talking about like specific, running programs that someone else made and everything. So obviously it's not as hard as creating the code, but that one may have been the most like arduous task that I've done for modding a console. But yeah,
the one I need to look into is 3DS ones because I have my broken one, and I've heard that if you were able to hack the 3DS, you can change what buttons it uses. And since so few games use both shoulder buttons on, because the new 3DS has both LNR and ZR.
Yeah.
ZR and L, whatever it is, ZL, ZR.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I thought about doing it on that one to see if I could change the controller mapping to just ignore that one button and maybe play certain things on it. We don't recommend hacking anything to do anything that you don't own, by the way, but there's definitely like some certain things of looking at, especially now that they're shutting down the 3DS store.
Yeah,
it's getting to be about that time that the sun's getting real low.
I'm probably I've not used my 3DS in quite a while. I may pull that out and take a look. The Vita was, I will say again, if you don't own it, then it's illegal. But the Vita, being able to load, to be able to use an SD card instead of the proprietary memory card on the Vita, that was one of the easiest things for me, because I've legit downloaded my games that I own onto a giant SD card. So it's like I haven't done anything illegal other than modifying my my Vita, and then I downloaded a bunch of games that I own. That kind of stuff. It's like, hey, if I own the hardware, let me do whatever I want with it. Don't ban me. Did you ever get banned? I can't remember if you never got banned, right?
If I got banned, if my PSN had gotten banned, you would have heard about it.
That's true. That's true.
There was a Reddit AMA that said that if you modded your Vita and you logged into it with your PSN, that Sony does know that you have it. It's just a matter of, do they care? And I have never put anything on there that is currently buyable through the PSN store. So anything, and I wouldn't do that anyway because the Vita store is still open.
Sure.
I have installed RetroArch on it, and just to mess around with putting like some old, I put like Link to the Past on there just to, why not? Just to see what happens in terms of that. I put Pokemon on there just to see again what playing a Nintendo game on a Vita is like, which is hilarious. And honestly, it's a really nice screen for some of those old school games. Unfortunately, the way that Game Boy Advance sound works is whatever they did with GBA cartridges, they did the sound on on the hardware, like on the cartridge or something, and so emulating that sound doesn't work very well. So GBA games sound kind of poopy, but Game Boy games, SNES games, all of those so far that I've tried via the Vita have worked well. But I own every Vita game that's on my console, though, is owned legitimately. So
I will say
all 97 of them I think I own.
I haven't even looked how many I have. I think I have over 100.
I went through that thing when we thought the store was closing, and I downloaded every single one.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I have over 100. Like I couldn't download all my games onto it.
Yeah.
I will say
256 card in that bad boy.
I've never. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Because I have a 128. I will say I've never been banned. I've never had my account banned. I have had hardware banned. So back in the
Mm.
Xbox days, if you were modding your console, they wouldn't ban your account. They would ban the console itself, so you could no longer get online with your console. Um,
Yeah.
so if you bought a bunch of stuff, it wasn't like everything was gone. Like you did have to buy a new Xbox if you wanted to play though. So again,
Honestly, I think that kind of thing is fair. If you get caught doing stuff that in breaking your terms of service, I'll take a hardware ban honestly over a network ban.
yeah,
Just with the mainly just because the sheer amount of money that I've spent on my on PSN, mainly PSN, a little bit of Nintendo. I've only bought like 2 games on Xbox, so that
so
one
many.
wouldn't hurt me as much. But Sony, Vita plus PS4 plus PS5, I think
Mhm.
we're pushing. Obviously a lot of those are PlayStation Plus games,
Some of
but
those are, yeah,
I want to say we're pushing like 500 games attached to my account,
yeah.
somewhere around there.
Just 500. I'm just
I
joking.
said,
I've got a ton. I've got a ton. Not that we're gonna measure at this point, but like, how do you get in there? Is it the downloads,
that's what I was wondering, because obviously you
game
can't see
library?
Vita anymore, but you can look at
Yeah,
your game library and you can look at purchased. And I just don't.
529,
Is
but it
that
doesn't
where
show
are you seeing the total?
under. And I don't think this is everything, but it's if you go into Sony, you go to your Sony has a terrible thing. So this is on PC library.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, library, and then what is it? Game library. When you look at your account, you say game library, and it says 529, and that's 529 PS4 or PS5. So that's not including my PS3 and my PS Vita games. I thought it would be more than that. Hold on. Some of these look like some of these are duplicates. So, like for example, it says Lego Star Wars that I just bought, and it's on there twice. Hood Outlaws and Legends. By the way, that's a PlayStation Plus right now. That's
It's
on there
because you
twice.
own more than one, or it's the fact that you get a PS4 and a PS5 version.
Exactly. So if I go to like say just PS4 games, 479 PS4 games. How many if you get in there? And it says I only have 50 PS5.
So again, all PS4 466.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna count that because most of the PS5 games are also on PS4, and then an additional, like I said, I think 98 Vita games. So yeah, if they put an account ban on me, I'd probably never play my PlayStation again.
I would,
even though I'm doing things that I shouldn't be doing. I risked it with the Vita, but I would. That's how you would lose me as a customer at that point.
I think at that point, I don't think this is why they're not banning people like us.
Yeah, they know.
They're like, he has a modded Vita. Okay, but he has a PS5 and he keeps buying games. Who cares?
This guy's a whale.
Yeah, exactly. That's what happens. They know they have us by the wallet.
I'm not even like a big whale, but
we're not. Yeah.
Compared to the normal attach rate, I think the attach rate for PlayStation games is somewhere around 10.
No, 10 for like
8.76 for PS4.
Okay,
so for those who don't know what attach rate is that means if you own a console, the average user of a console has 8.76 games.
And I'm gonna throw it in there saying probably, I'm just gonna say probably half of the games on that PS4 list are probably the PlayStation Plus games. Maybe not half, but like 200 or so PlayStation Plus games, probably.
I mean, I have a good amount, but I also pay for that membership year over year.
Same.
And that's also not counting the like beautiful physical collection that I have behind me either, which now my shelves, these shelves that are on the wall, are officially full, so I need to start finding a bigger solution that I can fit in this tiny room.
you're gonna have to have either a bookshelf, or you have like an area that has like the mass amount of games, and then you have your like highlights, say behind you or something like that.
They put Battle for Bikini Bottom on PlayStation Plus. That's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
What I've been thinking about doing is like doing some kind of shelving system in the closet, like where I currently have all my boxes. And I need to put all the boxes up in the attic and just kind of hope that no varmints ever get to them, and so that I would have like that extra shelf space. But I'm thinking about installing maybe like 2 or 3 more layers of shelves just kind of on that wall, and just start stacking games in there, and then keeping the stuff that I like, my display collection out here. I have a growing thing of steelbooks, and then I would probably keep my current console stuff, so like PlayStation 5 games would probably stay out here. That's the kind of organization. We own too much crap, Pat.
We do
and we love it.
And I got a toadette. You saw my polo about it, but
I have a
that's
Yoshi
all they had
bike.
left.
I have a Yoshi around here. I have Toad around here, but they're actually like open and about, I actually have the kid that gets Happy Meals.
Yeah.
And I just give them to him, and then I never see the toy ever.
So. I will say you got the polo story about it, but I felt like I did not like make the person go out of their way. This person at McDonald's did go out of their way. She was like, let me see what we have left. Because all I did was say, hey, can I buy just a toy? And that's how I opened the conversation in the drive-through window. And she goes through all of that, and she's like, okay, what else would you like? And I'm like, a Diet Coke. like that's all I wanted. Like,
at least you bought a beverage.
I did buy a beverage. McDonald's,
those
if you're getting
$1 sizes, baby.
$1 sizes, and McDonald's, if you're getting Coke products, that's the place to go, because I'm sure you know this already, but like the Coke makes them clean and like regulate their CO2, and like they have a higher standard than anyone else because Coca-Cola has a strict partnership with McDonald's. So
did you see the April Fools by McDonald's?
No, what was that?
That they were gonna can McDonald's Sprite.
It's a spicy Sprite.
Was like, what? And everybody was like, "Why would you do that? Why would you tease that?" Because of course everybody would want that.
Yeah, it's so spicy.
McDonald's Coke hits different, y'all.
Yeah. So it's
also, they also, not only are you right about the calibration thing, but they also have the bigger straw. Like, they do. That spout that optimizes the like whatever it does with the carbonation ratio, and
which costs them, like, those straws are more expensive for them to do it. But Coca-Cola's
they only charge you $1 for those drinks.
Yeah, well, it's because the majority of people who go through there and get $1 are not the guy like me who's buying a Happy Meal toy. Majority of people buy a couple of those. They buy a couple sandwiches, whatever.
I got points, man. I got the app. I buy Happy Meals every time I go there now. If you ever buy food there, the app, you got like daily deals. So there's like deals where it'll be like buy one get one 6-piece nuggets and stuff. Mm-hmm. And my kid is the one eating the nuggets anyway. So if I'm not feeling, if the Happy Meal toys suck, I just do the buy one get one 6-piece nuggets. Me and him split a nuggets. I get like the $1 fry and $1 drink, and you get out of there pretty clean. Yeah.
No, that's good. I need to do it. I'm trying to eat better, but but I will say that, like, every now and then, and you have the app. I didn't know about this, but one of my friends on online posted a picture. He got Szechuan sauce. They have a thing.
Yeah, it's back.
Yeah, I don't have any at my store. So I don't know if they're sending it in like limited supply or something, but they're out, because he posted that on Facebook, and I drove over to McDonald's and they didn't have any. I was gonna buy like a couple 6-packs of nuggets and the Szechuan sauce. It's so good.
It will only be available on the McDonald's app for free when selected as a dipping sauce option for chicken nuggets. So download the app, bro.
All right, download the app
and then do a mobile order.
I'm
and
gonna
go pick
mobile
it up.
order tomorrow, and I'm gonna get some. I'm gonna get some chicken nuggets and some Szechuan. Um,
So that's how they get you to do that. And honestly, their app is, in terms of their rewards program,
yeah,
very solid.
I've heard that. I've heard that. So all right, I'm downloading. You
We can
got me to
knock
do it.
McDonald's all we want around here, but it's been nice to the Owen family.
Well, as they like to, I can't remember what show that was from. They were like, everyone's knocking McDonald's, but what is it, 2 billion served or whatever? Someone's
Yeah.
eating those burgers. People don't like to say it. People don't want to say it. People are eating the McDonald's. So hope you guys like the
Where are you
show
eating?
this week. What are you eating? Are you eating McDonald's? Are you is that too much for you? More of like a Wendy's guy? Are you your Whataburger? What's your thing? Are you old school like White
If you're
Castle?
in and out, you can just bother not replying.
I won't ban you. Let us know in the comments what you eat. We'll see you next time.